Welcome to today's episode of College Financial Prep's Preparing for College podcast. So excited. We have Moira McCullough here today from College Scoops. And College Scoops is a fabulous organization. I'm going to let Moira tell you all about it. Welcome, Moira.
Thank you so much, Vicki. It's great to see your smiling face. I love it. And you were on the college, so thank you. I'm going to give a big plug and shout out. Thank you so much for always being a College Scoops supporter. You've been, you and I have had many conversations, and you're on our podcast series as well. So much great information. So I am honored to be here today and help any of your families or students as they start the college journey or head off on the victory tour or freshman orientation for all any of the three.
Fabulous. Do me a favor, tell everyone about College Scoops and how it all came to be.
Perfect. So College Scoops came to be after the first college visit with my oldest son. It was absolute disaster. I got in a car.
What happened?
Well, I was naive. I got in a car thinking I have one kid. I don't have to do laundry. I don't have to work. I don't have to do dinner. And I'm in the car with my oldest son, and we're going to drive 6 hours, and he's going to share every single secret he has. I'm going to learn all about what he likes, what he doesn't like. And we're going to go to campus, and he's going to say, I love it. I want to go here, or I know now where I want to go. And what happened? We went on the tour and information session, and the colleges do a great job marketing themselves, their people. We went to the car, and I could see him very disappointed, frustrated, and almost apologetic, saying, I'm so sorry, this was a waste of time, energy and stress driving here, and money, because I know no more than what I did when I looked at the website or the brochures. And I think that to me was an eye-opener. It was, well, what are you missing? These 16, 17, or 18-year-olds, many have never lived away from home. Academic fit, they've got their educational consultants, their guidance counselors to help them with that. Financial fit, they have their parents who put together a thoughtful list, but it's the social fit. And although we all have great advice about social fit, they want to hear it from their peers. They want to get advice and insights from their peers about what it's really like to live, learn, and grow on a particular college campus. So that's what was missing. And I thought, it's got to be out there. I conducted research. I'm great at research, found nothing. And then just basically started connecting with college students, asking them all these questions that these students have. What is it really like to live on campus? What do you wish you knew at freshman orientation? How easy is it to register for classes? If I'm not Greek life, will I have a social life? Gathered all those great insights, and a couple things I learned. One, college students were like, geez, this is amazing. Why didn't I have this when I was looking? Two, they thought and said, what else can we do to help College Scoops? I like this. I want to give back. And I was stressed out, and if I can de-stress it for a high school student who I was in their shoes a year ago, 2 years, 3 years ago. And then basically, parents, we spend so much time researching and trying to actually find a role too of how we can be helpful in this college journey. It was a great way to get parents, save them time, energy, and stress, helping planning a college visit, whether it's the first one or graduation. So we reached out, and that's why College Scoops, why it exists. It's made by students for students. College students then said, how can I help? We started a college internship team, paid internship team, where we have 3 to 30 students helping us at any given time with all of our content, whether it's the interactive guides, the podcasts, the student Q&A videos. And basically, that's how it came to be. And I now know why no one did it, Vicki. Like, it's hard as anything to do what we do. And I'm tired.
But I think it's fabulous that you have the college interns working for you. So
and as a keynote with that, like that was, I have to say, that was brilliant in the sense that students wanted to help. 2, it's a paid internship program. 3, I love also offering and focusing on English majors a lot because they don't get the opportunities that finance and STEM majors do in terms of internships or research opportunities. But these students came on, and what started out as like a project-based or semester-based opportunity, these college students stayed for two plus years because they were like, okay, I'd like to be an editor for this. And then they'd come to me a couple months later and they're like, well, I'd love to work on websites. Can I help you out with that? Social media. And then we formed kind of a tiered opportunity where they started out as like a junior intern, and then all of a sudden they were managing, a team where they would create student Q&A videos. I've written, recommendations for students to get into grad school. One used his internship as a part of his graduate school program. It was approved by a university, written for business school, for journalism school. And then we do a lot of work with LinkedIn. We recommend and endorse them on LinkedIn, which is actually more valuable than anything else for students as they continue to, develop their skill sets. So so that's what we do, and it's constantly evolving, and there's a lot that we don't do that's in your area of expertise. That's why we have experts like yourself who will come onto our podcast or share a guest editor post, because people have said, well, will you help us with, developing a college list? We're like, absolutely not, but we know the people who do that well. So we'll have all the different experts who will come in, whether it's educational consultants, financial advisors, or career coaching. And we've even had university representatives come on and talk about, undecided, raise your hand, proud. Here's how to go in as, undecided to university, but in a more strategic, thoughtful way. So love what we do, and love working with experts like yourself.
Thank you. So have to ask you, college scoops, what will parents and students find? What information do you share? Why is it so different than going to like the college website?
Yep. Well, I think a lot of the things that frustrate students is, one, they want to hear from their explore campus through the lens of a current college student. And some of the questions, and a lot of students don't have the confidence in the beginning, they're starting out, they don't want to ask these questions. But as they continue to research colleges and get more comfortable, they will start to access. So it's almost like having this community of your peers that you can ask, what is life really like outside of the classroom? Campus life, let's look at campus life, like athletics, school spirit. Is it really big at school, or is it just a handful of students showing up? Or if it's a Big Ten school, how hard is it to get season tickets to Michigan football? And how much money will it be? And if I want to get season tickets to hockey and to basketball, that comes into your area of expertise, where now it's like, well, yes, you can be a part of that athletic and go to these athletic events, but guess what? You'll need to save X amount of dollars to be able to attend those events. Another big thing is Greek life. The perception is, if I don't apply to Greek life, if I don't apply to a sorority or fraternity, I'll have no social life. At some schools, that is the case. You'll have more of a mellow experience or not. There's other schools that the perception is they have a huge, if you're not applying to a Greek life, that you'll have absolutely no social life. And that's not the case. It seems like everyone is, but it's only 20 to 30%. And many of the students will say, I only applied to meet one or two friends, and then I'm not as active once second semester, sophomore year comes along. So I think hearing that as a high school student, it kind of de-stresses it a little bit and thinks, okay, well, I can do that. Like, maybe I will give it a try. Or maybe I'm going to go in and know that a lot of students don't apply, so I don't have to get stressed out about that. Big thing too with students, and I just conducted a bunch of outreach to our students saying, really drill down on campus life. What are the soft factors when looking at colleges that you should think about? On and off campus housing. Some schools, some of the largest schools, as a sophomore, as a freshman in freshman student in October, you already have to decide and start to make bids for where you want to live the next year.
Wow.
So you've just finished September, you're a new
Right.
student, and now all of a sudden you have to decide who my roommate will be and where will I live, and you'll need money to put down for that deposit. So those are some of the things that I think as a student, you get the panic call in the middle of October, help, I now need 2,000 to put down for, a room next year, and I need to decide if I want to be with my roommate who I don't even know if I'd like yet. So those are some of the, I think students share those insights, and when students go to college groups and they read all the student testimonials, it kind of reduces the stress to think, okay, I'm not alone. Like everyone's feeling that way.
So is College Scoops geared towards the parents or towards the high school students?
Great question. It's geared to both, because what we've heard back from our communities, one, students are generating that content, right? So they're giving digestible information that students they wanted to ask that they didn't ask or were uncomfortable asking. But also we have parent on our interactive guides, we have categories, 15 categories: student pain points and parent pain points. The parent pain points were like, okay, I'm going to visit my student, where hotels that I need to book, restaurants. I want to be the cool parent. I want to take out the roommates and go to the cool hot spot, but I don't want to walk into the one that's the senior spot to hang out at. I want to go to the one that's that is the atmosphere is more in line with the age of my student at the current, shall we say. So it was been a big de-stressor. A lot of parents reached out and said, here are some things that we think would be helpful for parents to know. And then there's some transportation has always been a big thing. In terms of how do you get to and from campus, that's a stressor for the students and for the parents. Like if you're in a remote area but only 15 minutes from an airport, well, it's a $20 Uber ride. You can get to and from home relatively easy. If you're in a remote area but 3 hours from the airport, there's no way to come home easily. So
Right.
That's a conversation, I think, though, Vicki, too, that is good for the parent to know and the student, so that they can have a conversation. Are you comfortable being 3 hours from my airport, and you might not have access to coming home for Rosh Hashanah, for Easter break, for
Right.
different holidays, or just to get away for the weekend and de-stress. So I think it opens up conversations for both parents and students, and kind of to have that now at the planning stages, early stages, versus the panic calls in like October, November of freshman year.
So, there are, thousands of schools in the country. Like how many schools do you have, information about? How does...
Absolutely. So we chose 100 schools to launch that had the most applications. So that's the way we kind of beta tested it at first. And it was the 100 schools, but it was done in a thoughtful and strategic way, in a sense, because we looked at it too from a road trip basis. So I always use, like, if I'm applying to Lehigh, we're going to have Lafayette in there. If I'm going up to Bowdoin, you're going to have Bates and Colby there. So we wanted to make it so that road trip accessible. We also looked at comps. And if you're applying to BC, what are the other comparable colleges that you would be looking at? Therefore, College Scoops, if you're interested in one or two of those schools, most likely 90% of your list or 95% of your list is within that. So we'll never go to like 4,000. We're really, FISCAD is what, 238 or 240 schools. Well, we'd love to grow to that, yes. But we really wanted to launch it and to really get deep and enrich our schools that we have online right now. And then we're always asking for feedback from people to say, what other schools are you looking for? We'll put them in the pipeline. And somebody said, you don't have University of Redlands on. I'm like, yeah, we don't. But if there's a huge demand for it, our whole big thing too is we want enough content from enough students to really make that a worthwhile, university. So we're always reaching out to students and always trying to, get new information that we can share.
I love that. So are you constantly looking for new students to
Oh,
be?
absolutely. Absolutely. We're always out there. People say, well, you already have information on TCU. I'm like, absolutely. If you shared a favorite spot with me right now, the beauty of what we do is we started out, I don't know if you remember, with ebooks, which I cringe when I say that, because the minute you produce it, it's out of date. The beauty of College Scoops right now with our interactive guides is that I could go in after any conversation with a student, if they shared a favorite spot, and I'd be able to add that location and venue to our guide immediately with the student testimonial or the parent testimonial. So we're always enriching our guides with new information, sending notes out, emails out to our membership base, asking what they like, what they'd like to see more of, what doesn't work. I mean, if you don't know, you can't fix it. So I'm always, tell us how we're doing and how we could get better. So it's
Fabulous.
evolving. Exactly.
I
Exactly.
love this.
Well, you know what?
So-
I use it as somebody who had, a senior last year at university. I was using it with a freshman student, college student, and also a senior college student. In addition to when my kids were in high school. I mean, it was one
So
of those
using it
things
how?
that I would save countless hours. 5 minutes, I could book a trip. We just drove cross country. We just drove cross country, and we ended up in Asheville, North Carolina. My husband said, "Wait a minute, don't you have a UNC Asheville guide?" I'm like, "No, we do not." He goes, "Well, how will we be at the cool, hot spot where we'll see a lot of young people and feel young and hip?" I'm like, "Well, it's not going to be here." But I love living and
That's
learning
great.
and eating like a local. So I'm always gathering that information and sharing it. But no, so I use it just because it saves hours of research, and that's invaluable nowadays. And it's a platform that you can go to at any given time, whether you're starting the college search, refining it, or graduation for all intents and purposes.
So for, the families with 11th graders that are starting to think about that list, or with the 12th graders that are, almost ready, maybe, thinking about committing to a school, like what do you suggest in terms of College Scoops and how best to use it?
Yeah, so I would definitely, I mean, a lot of families will come. So our membership platform, it's annual based membership. It's $100. And in fact, anyone listening to this, I'll do a special discount code for listeners, and share that with you, so you could put that in the notes. But annual membership, you have access to the College Scoops information platform, interactive guides, student Q&A videos. I would really say, at any stage when you're starting the college list, refining it. We've heard from educational consultants who share this with their families, that students are using it to write their YS essay or communicate back with college admissions representatives, because you can find fun facts, information that you can't find 4 to 5 clicks on a college website. So I think, students have different questions at different times of their journey.
Oh,
And they
definitely.
gain confidence, right? And who they are, like after they've seen the 10th maybe college, if they can afford to go to college and visit the colleges. If they can't afford, or they want to wait until they're accepted, you have an ability to go to this platform and kind of, again, hear or listen or read what College Scoop students or insiders are sharing, and have that information to kind of help you refine your list, or communicate, or ask more questions. Have the confidence to say, "You know what, I'm going to DM that club on Instagram because I just thought of a question. When I read about these student testimonials, I'm going to ask this question." So I think that's it saves so much energy and resources looking elsewhere, coming on and getting it sourced in one kind of area.
Yeah, what I love about this is that, you may be talking with your child about a certain college and say, "Doesn't so and so go there?" And so could be like 2, 3 years older, and be like, why don't you reach out to them? No, I'm not reaching out to them. And this is a great way to like find out information without putting your child in that, what they perceive as an awkward spot.
Right. Well, I think you're absolutely right, because I remember just saying to my kids, why don't you call so and so, your former teammate, your former,
Right.
you know, whatever. They roll the eyes. I'm not going to do that. Like, that's so embarrassing. Get away from me, type of thing. But I think one, like, here you can get that information source from students. But again, it also gives you the confidence maybe to reach out and say, all these students were feeling the same thing. And I think you hear it at one college, you hear it at another, but you know, students are so busy, they're so stressed out. And if they can access this information at 11 at night when they're stressing or in between classes, we really tried hard to say, is it a cool enough platform app that students would like? Is it not so cool that parents can't use it? Speaking with somebody who likes a book and is still on the newspaper, not digital version, is this, easy enough that parents can use it on the go or on their laptop, whatever devices they use? So we really try to make it so that it it helps parents or students at any given stage. So, and I think I learned so much when I read the testimonials from kids or from the students or listen to kind of the student Q&A videos. You learn something new all the time, and I think it's something you can't get elsewhere. I mean, as I said, I realize now why people didn't do it, because it's just so hard. But we we have fun doing it. We're
It may be
continuing to
hard, but
do it.
it's fabulous.
Thank you, thank
It's
you. Yeah,
important. It's
no,
important. No,
abs-
it's really good.
absolutely. And as I said, we're always looking for suggestions from our community and feedback, because we want people, as many people on the platform using it, testing it out, sharing information with us. We're constantly sending out surveys to students and parents and educational consultants. What do you like? What do you don't like? So start exploring it. The annual membership is really the way to go, because parents will use it at different times, students will use it at different times. And in the grand schemes, Vicki, more than better than anyone. $100 for access to this, to get all this information. I mean, you'd spend
Oh,
2
yeah.
or 3 hours researching the information. So is your time, is $100 a lot given what you're getting for it?
Yeah, no, I mean, I always focus on the finances, and for the potential that your child is going to go off to college and then not be happy all of those thousands and thousands of dollars
Right.
later. If there's anything
Absolutely.
that can be done to ensure that your child is going to the right school,
Absolutely.
I think
But
it's worth it.
even take that a step further and say, they are going right, but here's the transportation. Like we've said to the students,
Right.
what are the gotchas? What do you wish you knew? Well, don't use, hey, there's a sign up for the bus early for the student breaks. Here's a great bus. It's only $50 to get from Boston to Bucknell. Well, I'm glad I learned that versus, my daughter who was at Michigan and a year and a half of taking Ubers, sharing rides back and forth from Detroit. You could have signed up for the Michigan Flyer for $12. I mean, all those little, and that goes into your purview. Like, what are the lessons learned that you wish you knew that you could have saved a couple bucks or a couple $100 by asking the upperclassmen, what do you wish you lessons learned? What would you do differently? So that's who we are. Like, we asked all the upperclassmen, give us the cheat sheets. So
Wonderful. I'm so glad that you were here today.
thank you.
Do me a favor, tell everybody where they can find you. You'll share the code with me and I'll put it into
Yes,
the notes.
perfect.
Yeah, so
College
tell everybody
Scoops,
where they
yeah,
can find you.
collegescoops.com. And I'm at Moira at collegescoops.com at Gmail if you want, excuse me, Moira at collegescoops.com if you want to reach out to me. We're everywhere. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram. Vicki, I'm not on TikTok. So if there's an intern, but now we have a question mark anyways about that. So anyways, I'm
I
pretty
hear
much
you.
everywhere on social media. Students can reach out, they can DM me, they can email me, they can text me. Parents can reach out any which way. Love hearing from our community, and that's how I'm reached. Unfortunately, as my family says, you're always reachable, Mom. Moira, take a
Well,
break.
thank you for being here today. Thank you for everyone for watching this week's episode, College Financial Preps Preparing for College podcast. Take care,
Thank you.
everyone. Thanks, Maura.
Thank you, Vicky. Thanks so much.